Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to talk about A Game of Thrones, Hand of the King, and this is published by Fantasy Flight.
In this game, the Hand of the King is missing, and you have to look for it. That's not what's happening. Although on the back of some of the cards there is like a hand, and it's like, why is there just a hand severed?
A floating hand.
I mean, maybe it's tied into the theme somehow. I don't know. But anyways, what's actually happening in this game is this is a set collection game. You are trying to get the most of these various houses from Game of Thrones, and once you collect enough people, you're going to collect banners. Whoever has the most banners representing these different houses at the end of the game is going to win. All right, let me give you a quick overview and show you how to play. All right, here is our setup for A Game of Thrones, Hand of the King. All right, we've got 36 of these character cards here, these square cards. We're going to shuffle those up, and we're going to arrange them in a 6x6 grid. All right, then off to the side over here, we've got a bunch of these different, they call companion cards. We're going to put 6 of them face up that are going to be relevant for this particular game. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to find this guy right here, the Varys card, and we are going to move him either up, down, left, or right, and we're going to declare a house. So there's all different houses represented from Game of Thrones. You're going to declare a house, and you are going to move in that direction, and you are going to go to the last possible one on the board in that direction of that house. So if we were to say left, and we were to say Greyjoy, we would go over here, move him where that is, pick up that card, and that's our turn. Really, this is just a set collection game. We've got all these different flags that are representing all the different houses from Game of Thrones. What we're trying to do is we are trying to get the most in various houses in order to claim that house. So right now for Greyjoy, we only have a card out there. It's 1, so we currently have the banner for the Greyjoy house. But the next person in player order might say, up Greyjoy. So then in which case they would go up, they would remove all the Greyjoys in that direction, and Varys is going to go to wherever that last one was. Now they have 2 of those, and that flag, that banner, transfers over to them. Now all these character cards have a number in their bottom right corner. Like for instance, there's a number 3 there in the bottom of that Tyrell card. That's basically saying that there are 3 of those cards in the game. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 of that house. Having that knowledge does a couple things for us. First of all, we know how many cards we need to get a majority, or at least to beat everybody else out at. Then also, there's an extra mechanism in the game. Whenever the last card of a house gets taken, whoever takes that card also gets to activate one of these companion cards over here. So those can be really, really strong powers. So knowing that, let's say the Tullys, there's only 2 of those in the game. We've got one over here and one over there. Getting 1 or 2 of those is, worth a whole banner just there, right there by itself because of how few there are. But also, it's a lot easier to get to that last one of that particular suit because there's only 2 of them out there. Once the last one's taken, you get to get one of those abilities by those companions. Those companion cards can do any number of things. They're all kind of tied into the thematic things within the Game of Thrones world. So, for instance, we've got these over here. This one here, the Loras Tyrell, says, take Renly or any Tyrell character from the King's Landing or the play area. So the King's Landing is the main player board where all these cards are taking place. But if you have a play area, that's where the cards you've already taken, where players have already taken those cards and have them in their possession. So that's really all there is to the game. You're going to declare a direction of where Varys is going to move. You're going to declare a house. It's going to collect cards from that house, hoping to get your majorities in that particular house. And eventually there's going to come a point where there's not very many of those cards left on the board. And when that happens, Varys can no longer move. When he can no longer move, the game ends. Whoever has the most amount of those banners is going to win the game. If there is a tie, let's say I have 3 and maybe Bethany has 3, whoever has the banner with the highest number is going to win. So for instance, Stark, there's 8 cards out there with Stark on them from that house. So that's the hardest one to get. If you have that one and you're part of that tie, you're going to win the game. There are a couple of variants in this game. For instance, if you're playing with 4 players, you can actually, instead of doing it competitively, 1v1v1v1, you can have a team game, 2 players versus 2 players. The person across from you and yourself are paired up, and you're both going to collect banners the same way, but at the end of the game, whichever team of you has the most banners is going to win. Also, there's these 3-eyed crows tokens. What these do for you is they basically allow you to set up a little kind of parlay with people. So if you're playing with that variant, what you can do is you can spend one of these tokens to kind of say, hey Bethany, come on over here. Let's track strategy for a minute. And then, you can pull aside and say, hey, if I go up and then you go to the right, and then when it comes back to my turn, we can go left and we can team, and I'll get some points and you'll get some points. Or, whatever it is that you say, you make some kind of deal or pact with them, try to arrange things. That's all about, kind of having a secret conversation so that way you can kind of set up the board. Because there really is no luck here, right? You just have the board set out here. Every move could be, in theory, planned out. So, like, for instance, maybe it's obvious that someone would want to take Lannisters because there's two of them in that row. So they might choose right, take Lannisters, go over 2. And from there, well, maybe the obvious move is to go to Tyrell because that's where, that's the rarest card is in that particular line. Or whatever the scenario is. So there's always something that's going to be kind of coming up like that. You kind of plan ahead of what you think the other players might do. Very similar to like chess or something like that. And don't forget, these cards over here, these companion cards can be very effective. So I just want to keep an eye out for them. Taking that last of a house can be really, really strong. All right, when all said and done, though, whoever has the most banners is going to win.
First of all, thanks, Ryan, for showing us how to play. Isn't it so nice that he does that for us all the time?
My pleasure.
You do a good job. Good job.
Thanks, dear.
Okay, so one of the things that I actually really liked about this was the artwork. I can't pronounce his name, but it's the same artist that did the West Kingdom series.
Oh, West Kingdom and North Sea games.
Yeah, and I really like that. I think it's really fun, and for somebody who's not familiar with this IP at all, to see all of the characters done in that artwork was very captivating for me.
Yeah, me, I like that art.
Yeah,
so
that's why I'm talking about it.
It didn't do anything for me. But anyways, this game was incredibly simple to set up and teach, and that was a huge plus. I was actually able to play this with someone who is not a gamer the other day, but they are a Game of Thrones fan. So I was able to, give a quick overview of the game, and we played it. And in fact, all the little thematic touches that happened throughout the game, they were able to pick up on all of them, and they just loved it. Oh, that's because this person's an assassin. That's why they were able to kill that person and that person. Oh, and this person has a relationship with that person and that person. That's why they're able to collect those cards or whatever it was. Yeah. And it just made a whole lot of sense to them. So this was a really easy game to teach to a non-gamer who was a Game of Thrones fan, which I thought was a huge plus. That's exactly what you want to happen with an IP, especially a simple game like this.
I really liked those companion cards. It gave you something to work towards besides just getting the majorities, which of course you're working towards. But sometimes you might take a card that does not get you a majority just so you can access to that and maybe switch things around. And I liked that it gave it something more than just a simple set collection. It gave you something extra.
All right, so in order to enjoy this game, the question I asked myself was, do you need to be a Game of Thrones fan? And the answer is no, but it definitely helps. If you have those connections, you kind of see it all. If there's a tie-in, you're kind of, you're already locked in. You already, have something that you're looking for, and it's rewarding that. And maybe even going a little too far. Like, so for instance, there was those three-eyed crows variant that you could use to have these secret communications with people. That was weird to me. Like, this is too simple of a game to be that worried about, let's sneak off to a corner and talk about, like, I'll go to the top, and then you go to the left. And nothing, no, just take your turn. It'll be over in a few minutes. And
you can just play it again.
You just play it again and try to do better next time or whatever. This colluding and this stuff, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. And this is a Bruno Cathala game, so I know they wanted a little bit more depth out of this simple game. And so they, it's all just laid out there for you, and I can see how that would be tempting to want to do all that strategizing and stuff, but
it doesn't need it.
It takes away from the simplicity. It takes away from the 10-minute time frame, and you're just moving cards around and taking them and enjoying it.
So this game is great for friends of yours who maybe aren't gamers but are huge Game of Thrones fans. It is that perfect level to bring to that person. Somebody who just loves this IP, loves all this stuff, but isn't necessarily a gamer yet. This is the game that you want to use to play with them, because I like Ryan said, when he went to his, when he played the game, like, that person really liked it. And so I just feel like that fits that perfectly.
And, I would say the opposite is probably true. I'm not going to, for someone who is not a Game of Thrones fan, but is a gamer, I'm not breaking this out probably. Yeah. This is not one that I'm going to try to hey guys, want to play this? We'll keep it on the shelf, I think, because it does fit, a really nice time frame and a pace. But it's not one that we're going to be probably playing a lot. unless it's with, that exact scenario in mind of
Yes.
non-gamers
Yeah.
who are Game of Thrones fans, which that's probably a huge section of people.
Yeah. Yeah. But everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. You can also find us on Facebook. We're Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we are Ryan and Bethany 1. And on Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany.
All right, you guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.